Hello and welcome to the trade setup. In this video we are looking at the Andersons. This was a stock analysis request from one of the followers, and I wanted to let you know that anyone can make these requests and I'll most likely cover them, especially if there is an actionable trade setup to follow. And in case of this chart, we have a rather interesting structure because we have here an initial 5-wave move to the upside that has formed, and even though it is within a leading diagonal, it is good enough for us to track in the overall uptrend for a continuation within a larger wave 3 that is expected to form quite a substantial push here, especially if it is a wave 3, because while it can be a wave 3, it can also still work out technically as a wave C. And now, depending on which pattern is going to play out for a third wave to the upside, we are looking roughly to the 138.2% extension of the wave 1 around the $1,200 level, and then for a wave C we would be looking instead for an ideal target at the 100% extension at the $337.6 level, although this is just that, an ideal target, and certainly we don't need to get there and we don't need to stop there. Now, there is a bit of a situation going on within this area because we have a couple of ways we can actually count a 5-wave move to the upside here, because here we have some aggregation on the daily time frame where we have an actual lower low in this area, but honestly, even with this, I can count this as a larger 1, 2, 3, 4th and a 5th to the upside that would work out as a wave 5, but I would probably even prefer to remove that and track this movement to the upside as a 1, 2 setup on the daily, where this would be just a singular 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 internally. This would have been the internal wave 3, and then this would be part of a running flat correction within an ABC structure. And in the end, it doesn't really matter which path we choose, which type of structure we follow exactly, but I would probably prefer this one on the 4-hour time frame for this scenario anyway. And in this case, we would see that in this movement to the upside within this 1-2 setup, we have here the area of support which was reached within this wave 2 correction at the first level, the $31 level, from which point we have potentially started the overall wave 3 to the upside. Now, since we have the wave 1 and 2 complete, we can even look here for an ideal target, and I would be watching here the 138.2% extension of the wave 1, which is around the $314 level. And even though for us it is very easily possible to still extend lower within this correction in the wave 2, I would probably even prefer that we have already bottomed and that we are within an initial wave 1 that would be part of the larger wave 3. Now, this wave 3 is certainly expected to be an impulse, but this initial structure to the upside certainly is not one, because here we only have a 3-wave move to the upside in a wave 1, we have here a wave 2 correction, and then within this third wave to the upside we are once again tracking an overall ABC structure. Now, within this ABC movement to the upside that we have here, we could have actually already topped, but I still prefer continuation for now, because within the wave C, I would prefer to even track an impulse to be developed within this area, a 1, 2, 3, and here a 4th and a 5th wave to the upside that I would like to see extended. Now, there may be a way to work out without actually forming an extension, although I would probably prefer to see one. And if we have already topped here within the wave 3, we can have an area of support for the wave 4 correction, which can signal to us, if it fails, that we should expect an overall reset of the larger wave 2, and this area would be here between the $49.4 level all the way down to the $39.8 level. Now, so far we have not gotten into this area of support, and internally I would like to track a potential continuation here in an orange scenario, let's say. Here we can track something, let's give here the microstructure actually, but here we can track within this orange interpretation a larger ending diagonal within the wave 5, and we can track continuation higher, especially here as long as we hold an area of support for a wave B retracement, because within an ending diagonal here we expect to form an ABC structure to complete this overall larger wave 3, and for such an interpretation we have here the area between the $53.6 all the way down to the $50.7 level. Now, assuming we have bottom within the wave B, we can have even an internal target. But before that, I want to show you here the ideal target for the wave 3, but it has actually already been reached, so we may have even formed a bottom within the wave 3, or a top within the wave 3 actually, although based on this structure I might still prefer to form another wave B and a C wave to the upside, which is why I would still allow the 78.6% retracement. Although, yeah, since we did manage to form here a wave, or get here to the ideal target within the wave 3, we may need to consider that we get here only a third, fourth, and a fifth, and this structure would build and complete sooner rather than later. But overall, the main point is, in this smaller time frame, we would like to see at least another high, and this can remain just one within the orange interpretation only as long as we hold the 61.8% retracement instead of the $51.8 level, but we can look still for continuation higher overall as long as we hold the 78.6% retracement, where a break below that level would signal to us that this structure is likely complete and we should expect the larger correction within the wave 4 to start playing out, once which we may look for a continuation in a fifth wave to the upside. And for me, overall, it's not really interesting right now. What would need to happen to have this chart become specifically interesting is to form here the fourth and the fifth. Now, whether that happens before or after we get an extension within the orange scenario does not matter in any way. I would just like to see here this movement to the upside to form an initial 5-wave structure, once which we will have here an internal 1-2 setup, and this will actually be a very interesting area for a potential trade setup. But for now, these are the levels, this is the trade setup. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to subscribe and let me know what else you want me to cover, and I'll do my best to do that in the days and weeks ahead. And until then, I hope you have a nice day, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.